All right, hey everyone. In this video, we are talking about 6 different reasons why you may be experiencing back pain. Let's get into it. So all this information, a lot of it comes from Dr. Stuart McGill. You can research him a little bit more on your own, but he is the author of The Back Mechanic and is all things back pain. He's a doctor and understands the mechanics of the spine a lot better than most individuals. So after diving into his book, I thought I would talk about the 6 different main reasons that he says we experience back pain so we can start to identify for ourselves what is it that we can work on to improve. All right, number 1 is moving from the spine rather than from the hips, shoulders, and core in everyday activities. So this is a common one you hear all the time. Could be picking up a box and you pick it up like this, or you're trying to do this, versus using the strength of your hips, your core, and your shoulders to lift. This could also be about reaching for things. I'm bending at the spine rather than really utilizing the fullness of my hips, core, and shoulders to move in one solid unit. So if you notice that in day-to-day activities, this is how you're picking things up, and you're not putting a lot of focus on your core, on the strength of your hips and your glutes, and moving from your shoulders, things that you could work on are throughout your movement practice, focus on really strengthening those hips. So things like squats, lunges are a great thing to do, lateral side-to-side movements, anything where you're really working on using those 3 stacking points to move through space versus your spine. All right. Reason number 2 is certain asymmetries of strength and movement patterns. So specifically for this one, it's nice to get somebody to observe your movement, especially professionals such as movement educators, like someone like myself, physical therapists, even chiropractors can start to see this. But as you move, you can even do this by looking at yourself in the mirror, taking pictures of your back and your front. You might see that one side is more built up than the other. You might notice that in certain movement patterns, one leg is stronger than the other. And what this does is create compensation patterns over time where one part of the body has to work harder than the other. And therefore that one part of the body is becoming stronger. So we can start to do this by work on this by noticing which muscles are firing more than the others. Again, through finding a movement professional to kind of look at that for you. And then you can start to strengthen those things over time, creating more balance in the body. All right, reason number 3. Stiff hips, especially if one of the hips is tighter than the other. This can create back pain, especially in the low spine, but also everywhere else in the back. I have a video for getting more mobilizing in the hips, both in the front and back plane, but also in external rotation. I'll link that video right here. And you can click on that and start to practice those movement patterns over time to loosen on the hips. If you notice that the right side is tighter than the left, which is very common because we're using that right side a lot more, driving, if we're right-handed or play soccer, we're using that side a lot more. So hold or find longer mobility sequences on the right side to start to balance out the left and the right. Okay, next one is asymmetries of hamstring length. So if one hamstring is longer or more stretched out than the other, that creates an imbalance, perhaps even in the hips and as we walk, and basically just as we move in everyday life. So you can measure this in yourself by having somebody measure for you, and you'll lay on your back, legs completely straight, reaching one leg totally tall, reaching it back as far as you can, measuring the angle here, And then switching sides, again, as far back as you can. From there, you can start to notice, is one a little bit shorter or longer than the other? I will link a video right here for hamstring lengthening exercises, and if you notice that one is shorter than the other, you can start to work on lengthening the one that is shorter by holding longer or just focusing on that one side for a little while. All right, reason number 5 is imbalance in your torso and back muscle endurance. So I will link a site in the comments below that gives you an ACE fitness test for torso endurance. And basically what we're doing is we're trying to measure the strength and endurance of the transverse abdominis, the quadriceps lumborum, the QL down here, and then also our erector spinae. Hard time saying that one. And sometimes, let's say you could be really strong in these two, but weak in the front side, or weak in the back side and strong in the front side. And if there's not equal balance in those three, then it can kind of affect both of our posture, but also the pain we go through in our spines because of having to rely on one muscle group. So you can take that test that I'm linking down below just to see. It's just basically holding in different positions that are utilizing those muscles, and you can see which one is stronger than the other. Once you've found if one of them is weaker, you can start to work on strengthening that specific muscle group. All right, last one is our most common one for these modern day lives that we have, and it's prolonged sitting or standing. Yep, I think we've heard this one a million times. We all know that sitting all day at our desk is not so great for us, for our posture, for the way that we breathe. Also standing, when we're standing all day, this starts to tend to happen because we have to use so many muscles to stand up tall and just stay in one place. So the best thing for sitting, obviously, is to get up every 20 minutes or so. If you work a desk job, you can set a little timer on your phone, and every 20 minutes, just get on up, take a little walk around your office, find some movements. I have so many different, random but yet effective movement pattern videos that you can check out my channel. Things with the brain dance and things like that will start to be able to activate your brain and your body to just get the blood flowing. And number 2 is to really focus, if you are sitting or standing all day, in any movement strength work that you're doing, focus on your core. So I will link a small video up there for you for your deep inner core activation drills. But after that, finding any exercises from others or that you know of daily to start to train your core, because that's what's going to help us sit up tall and avoid pain in our backs. All right, so I hope this was helpful. If you are interested in developing a more consistent movement practice and you know you have the time to do so, but knowing what to do and how to do it and how to schedule it in your life, if you're struggling with any of those things and you want to start to get more movement in your life that really targets getting you out of back pain, I have a program, online course. You can do it in your own home at your own pace. It's called Empowered Wellness, and it's empowering you to feel stronger in your body, in your core, in your spine, so we can slowly get ourselves out of pain and into more joy and vitality in our bodies. So I'll link that in the description below if you're interested. For more information on movement and feeling more joyous in our bodies, please consider subscribing to my channel. I would greatly appreciate it in starting to build up this work and getting more tools out into the world. All right, y'all, thank you so much for listening.